important game.
It was interesting that Chris O'Sullivan led them onto the field, because prior to today's game, the club presented him with a trophy for his 150th first-grade match. And also he got a trophy from the Oldham club, which he played for during the off-season in England.
I know they want him back there. That's probably why the trophy came from Oldham. And in what great form O'Sullivan's been in. In fact, you can't pick a bad player for Canberra of late. And this is about to begin. The Battle of Seaford. The Dragons take on the attacking giants of the competition, the Raiders, and it goes to the man who scored 4 tries last week, Carey, straight under the first tackler. He's taken about 15 metres out from the Canberra line. Lazarus goes forward. Tackler was Trevor Crowe down the blind side. Feeder. Poor game on Wednesday night. The first penalty of the match goes to the Raiders. The Dragons inside the 5. I was saying before, Peter had a poor game on Wednesday night, but his form prior to that has been very good. Talking about good form for the Dragons, another winger, Ricky Walford. He's over there marking Carey. He's been in great form, Ricky Walford. Scored some brilliant tries. He's got a ton of pace. As we see Brent Todd take it up into the St George line, taken just over the other side of halfway. He'll play the ball. Good tackle, Lazarus. There's plenty of work in the rucks, Lazarus. And another penalty goes to the Canberra Raiders, and this one could be in kicking distance. Mal Meninga's looking across to Dean Lance. And Lance, in fact, throws the ball to Gary Belcher. So Big Mal will come back across to the side of the field. I think Mal was expecting to get the job then.
He'll just have to wait his turn.
Gary Belcher's form last week was great. Came on late. Admittedly, Illawarra were down on the canvas and out, but he still cut them to ribbons every time he touched the ball. Early in the season, he was looked at as being a certainty for the Australian fullback position. Right. Okay, well, here goes. Gary Belcher lining up this kick about 38 metres out and straight in centre. Head down. What a good start, the Raiders over the Dragons. Is this going to be it? No, it's not. It's a poor kick and it goes to the right of the post, and Ricky Walford takes it for St George. Carey takes him round the legs, over the top, Ivan Henjak. Ball's loose. Well, that's a mistake, and here come the Raiders. Big Bradley going for the line. Good run from Bradley. Good run from Bradley Clyde, the teenager with the big future. Well, it comes to the blind side. Ricky Stewart to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan tries to come back, but the defence moved up quickly. That was Darren Higgins, the tackler. Down the blind side. D. Lance almost through, gets the Minning. The Minning just holding them off. He's tackled about 5 metres out. Just manages to stay in the field of play. Goes to Stewart, goes across field, throws the dummy. Good tackle. Shane Kelly still attacking the Raiders. O'Sullivan. St George coming up quickly in defence. Great defence from St George. The tackler, Darren Higgins. Well, that certainly will be the ploy of St George here. They're going to move up quickly and try and stifle this attacking backline of the Canberra Raiders.
Now the scrum going down about 32 metres out from the St George line, the Dragons line, and still the score 0-0. We've had about, let's have a look at the clock, about 3.5 minutes of play in this match. As the scrum goes down, 11 metres in from touch over on the hillside of the field. Lanane to feed the ball in. Looks like a Dragons ball. Now this is Potter. Potter gets under O'Sullivan's tackle, but he's brought down right around the ankles by Clyde. The ball is played. Kicked by Lanane, deep, back down over the Raiders' 22-metre line. Will it find touch? I don't think so. Johnny Ferguson's there to receive the ball. This is Fergo. Gets away from Mackay, but he's brought down about 15 metres out from his own try line. Raiders deep inside their own territory. And this is Brent Todd. Todd up to the 22-metre line. That's where he'll play the ball. Dummy half Walters. Could be a penalty here if they don't get off, but the ball is played on. It goes to Lance, and Lance is tackled right around the ankles by Crowe, just outside the 22-metre line. Lazarus 30 metres out, almost in centre field. Walters from the dummy half. And Walters is brought down in a good tackle there by Peter Spring, midway between the half and the quarter line. Here's a kick by Stewart now. Back down to the Dragons' 22-metre line. This is not a bad-looking kick. Whoa, almost found touch. But back there to receive the ball was Potter, and Potter gets the pass to Moore. I think he's lost the ball. St George, I believe, have lost the ball.
Gary Coyne's got it.
Now it's played. On it goes to Todd. And Todd gets to within 30 metres of the Dragons' try line. On the grandstand side of the field, Steve Walters, dummy half. O'Sullivan. This is Clyde. And Clyde is brought down 30 metres out. He'll play the ball. Walters, dummy half. Stewart. Stewart gets away from one. Still going, Stewart. But not gaining much ground. They're still about 30 metres out. Stewart to play the ball. And here's a penalty. Again, St George offside in the play the ball. And another penalty to the Raiders. And this is within fairly easy kicking distance.
Well, it's obvious that George backs have been told to get up on the Canberra Raiders as quickly as possible and try and cut off the attack. And I think they're going to be trying to put the pressure on O'Sullivan and Stewart to try and make them turn the ball back away from Henjack and Ferguson and Meninga, the flyers in the side.
Well, Gary Belcher, he missed the first one, but I'm sure he'll go a lot closer with this kick. Coming up to the 5-minute mark in glorious sunshine here at Seaford Sports Grounds. 0-all the score, and this gives Belcher the chance to put the Raiders in front. Taking plenty of time with this kick. It's almost in front of the uprights. 23 metres out. The crowd is hushed. Bows the head, moves in. Belcher, the ball is in the air. How's this one? It's there. 2 points. Raiders 2, St George 0. And we've had about 6 minutes of play in the first half.
Well, welcome back. 2 points to 0. The Canberra Raiders on top of St George in the early moments of the first half. But this is going to be a tight game. Rest assured of that, as Brent Todd takes it up into the St George pack. Whether they can withstand this pressure late in the second half will tell. They've played midweek and they played last weekend, of course. 2 hard games as Henjack tries to skirt down the blind side, and he's gone over the sideline. Good tackle from Fafita and Walford. Lanane's got the ball. He'll feed this scrum. St George has the opportunity to attack. Scrum set about 40 metres out from the Canberra Raiders line. Referee says, I'll have that again. Mentioned before, this is a huge crowd. Goes to Higgins. Oh, he's made a shocker, and O'Sullivan's pounced. Got the ball. And a good way for the 5'8" to start the game. Darren Higgins. It's a perfect pass, but he had a big look at who was coming up on him, and that was O'Sullivan. Oh, beautiful pass to Meninga. Meninga's going down. He's got Ferguson with him. Ferguson's going to score again. Well, Meninga's touched the ball once, and he's given it to Ferguson, and it's a try. Listen to the crowd.
The crowd are ecstatic.
The 2 favourite players, Meninga and Ferguson. They've touched the ball, they've combined, and through they went. And what a gem of a pass it was.
Here it goes, that pass, and racing to the line, unmarked, is little Johnny Ferguson, and says, thank you very much, everybody. And I'll place it down right now. And that was a sensational start.
Well, we mentioned that the St George backs were getting up quick. This was the pass. That was a magnificent pass from Ricky Stewart.
How can they stop this fella? Look at him. He just brushes them off, says, look, just move aside, let me through.
And he's like the big man, big, bad, mean blowfly as he charges down. They talk about the Mosquito Squadron.
Go, Johnny.
Well,
lots of determination there.
Johnny Ferguson's been setting up tries of late, not scoring too many himself, but he certainly was Johnny on the spot to score that one. This is a lot easier kick for Gary Belcher. Right in front. This is money for Jam. And through the post it goes. The score, 8 points to 0. Canberra Raiders over St George. 10 minutes gone in the first half. Anthony Moore's our man on the sideline. Believe a replacement might be ready. Anthony, could you keep an eye on that one for us?
No, not at this stage, mate.
Not at this stage. All right. Of course, 4 of the St George players had to come through a fitness test on Thursday night's training. So they're a patched-up bunch at the moment as Glenn Lazarus goes into the pack. Higgins makes the tackle with Trevor Cray. Good run from Brent Todd, takes play about 30 metres out from his own line. Goes to Ricky Stewart, he'll kick, comes off. The St George player, it's play on, comes off more, goes to Glenn Ferguson.
6 tackles to go. And the penalty goes to the Raiders. Well, there's a pretty ominous sign out there, Peter. The determination on the Raiders' faces. They're really fired up for this match this afternoon.
Well, they've got the platform to really attack in this game. This is the best side Canberra has put on the paddock this season.
Now Stewart finds touch midway between the half and the quarter line, back down in the Dragons' territory, and here's more pressure now for the Dragons. The tap kick to be taken by Walters. On it goes to Lazarus, and Lazarus bursts up towards the 22-metre line. He's brought down by Kelly. The ball is played. On it goes now Coyne, this is. And Coyne almost to the Dragons' quarter line. He'll play the ball. Steve Walters, dummy half. Working the blind side. Stewart got it away to Clyde. Clyde, now this is Belcher. On it goes. Oh, there's a loose pass. It's rolling along the ground, and I think St George may have regained possession. No, the referee has blown the whistle, signalling a knock-on and a scrum to pack down 18 metres out from the St George try line.
He's ruled on that occasion that the ball was touched by the St George player and it could be fed by Ricky Stewart. In fact, it is.
Scrum going down, 18 metres out. Stewart, the scrum twisting off the mark, but it's a Raiders ball from Stewart. It goes to O'Sullivan. A little chip kick through. Here's a race for the ball. Walford is running for the ball. He'll just get there in time. Carey was coming through very, very quickly indeed, but Walford saved the day.
And the linesman's in. I think you'll find that Hen Jack was obstructed as he was going through. He was shoulder charged out of the way. We might have another penalty. Just watch it. There's the kick. It bounces over the top. Well, no, that's a line ball decision. We'll see what the referee has to say about it.
Henjak was, I think, definitely taken out of the play there. He was a bit of a chance to go through and possibly pick up 4 points for the Raiders, but the touch judge saw it anyway.
Here goes the penalty. Penalty to the Raiders.
Crowd loves it.
They certainly do. They can take plenty of these. And this should be another 2 points. The Raiders lead by 8 points to 0. And we've had around about 12 minutes of play in the first half.
They look sharp. They certainly look sharp, Canberra. Every time they've moved it out wide. We'll take note of the big work being done in the centre by Brent Todd, Glenn Lazarus, and also Gary Coyne. That's laying the foundation for the backs to have so much room out there. When they can go through and burn up 15, 20, 25 metres, the backs have then got the opportunity to attack. If your forwards don't go forward, the backs certainly can't attack.
Now Belcher has the ball placed just away to the right of the uprights. Head bowed. Moves in. The ball is in the air. Flagged away, unsuccessful, and so the score remains Canberra 8, St George 0. 13 minutes of play gone in the first half.
Well, that was a poor kick from Belcher. He's kicked 2, but they were both fairly simple goals. He should have put that one over.
Now here's the drop kick by Mackay. Back down to the Raiders' 22-metre line. Picked up by Belcher. This is Gary Belcher. On the far side of the field, he's tackled midway between the half and the quarter line. From Todd it goes to Clyde. Clyde, a metre short of halfway. On the hillside of the field, the ball is played. Lazarus runs into Fafita. He's tackled about 7 metres inside the Dragons' territory. Walters. On it goes to Coyne. Back it goes now. Stewart, still going, Stewart. Good run by Stewart. Midway between the half and the quarter line. Stewart to play the ball. Steve Walters dummy half. It goes out now to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan puts the ball looking for the touchline. Will he find it? It's in goal. And the running back there to pick it up is Potter. And Potter's beautifully tackled in goal. Coming through quickly was O'Sullivan. Potter couldn't bring the play. And that was a good tackle by O'Sullivan coming through very quickly.
Well, Potter paid the penalty then. He had the opportunity to be able to pick that ball up, but he was hoping it would go over the sideline in goal. There's plenty of time now. He gets to the ball. He's there to get it. Tries to see it go over the sideline. No, it's not. But he has to try and run it out. Plays it safe. O'Sullivan.
Line drop out by Mackay. A good deep kick. Carey dropped behind his referee. This is Carey over halfway. Puts the head down and barges back inside the Dragons territory now. In centre field, play the ball. Walters. Todd. And Todd is tackled right around the ankles by Fullerton Smith. The whistle. He spotted a little knock on there. And referee Harrigan orders the scrum to pack down in the Dragons territory. And Steve Linane to feed the scrum. Now let's have a look at this incident. Yes, just a trace of a George win the scrum. That's Johnston. Johnston stands up and tackles up the pass to Higgins. And Higgins is 30 metres out from his own line. Higgins plays the ball. Potter dummy half. Potter tackled over the top by his man. Walford. On it goes now to Kelly. This is Kelly about 2 metres short halfway. Kelly plays. Oh, going without the ball there was Fullerton Smith. And I'm not on a little bit over anxious, the Dragons. I will settle down in this match. So this scrum will pack down almost on the halfway line. And here's the scrum. Almost on the halfway line. Set in by Stewart. They're offside by a mile, the Dragons.
They have to get back there 5 metres from the scrum now. They never got back to 5 metres. To Mackay telling him back that him to get back the 5.
They just can't settle down, the Dragons.
Well, and the opportunity to settle down, that's the key to it. This is sustained pressure. Raiders looking for their second. Ricky Stewart's geeing up his players. Gary Coyne is the dummy. Goes to the back line. O'Sullivan long pass to Henjack. Belcher's got Ferguson in support. Can Ferguson get through? No, he can't. Down the blind side. Meninga. Run from Meninga. Takes play almost to the 22. Henjack. Long cut-out pass goes to O'Sullivan. No support. Steve Walters a dummy half. Dean Lance, he's tackled almost on the 22. Not going anywhere at the moment, the Raiders. The Stewart to O'Sullivan to Henjack. Got Belcher, runs around. Still looking for support. Throws a loose pass. Almost intercepted by Higgins. Goes back to Ricky Stewart. He's taken by Spring. So they've gone back about 15 metres. Gary Coyne back and tackle. Fulton Smith. Cut out. Top. O'Sullivan can't control it. Potter's got the ball. Then up for St George's. Potter brings the searching for the gap, the Raiders. Almost cut the ball loose. Bailey. Trevor Crow. St George lock. Run. Right up into the ring machine pack. They're in a bunch of George. Clear short. This is the 5th. Still walking around seemingly aimlessly. Big kick Belcher. Trapped it with his legs. Picks it up. Ring by the defence. Carey around, pushes off Higgins. Can't push off the feeder. And Trevor Crow. The right side of 22 as Bradley Clyde comes up. Good run about 10 metres. He'll play the ball. Top. Feeder inside the 5. Right now, after 20 minutes of the first half, Canberra leading St George. 8 points to Seaford Oval. Welcome back to Seaford Oval. Anthony Moore on the sideline. We've just seen Fafita leave the paddock. What's happened?
Yeah, John Fafita copped 5 minutes in the sin bin there. He must have said something to the referee after that penalty was awarded to the Raiders.
St George have definitely got to try and claw their way back into this game. There's still plenty of time, 60 minutes to go. In fact, as it goes to Gary Coyne, standing up in the tackle, but he can't find any support. He'll play the ball 30 metres out for St George's try line as Walters tries to go from dummy half. Gain of about 2 metres to Stewart. Long passes. Belcher, beautiful pass to Carey, who can't control it. Ball just floated forward. The idea was there. Carey was out there with plenty of room, but the ball, watch it. Belcher, long pass, just goes forward. That was Walford who was inside, so Carey had the space.
Could have well been a try, Peter. Now this scrum goes down 30 metres out from the Dragons' try line. It's won by St George from Linane. It goes to Walford, and Walford has tackled 32 metres out from his own try line. The ball is played Potter dummy half. Potter got the pass away, and this is a Crow, the lock forward, midway between the half and the quarter line. Crow plays the ball. Johnston got the pass to Fullerton Smith, and Fullerton Smith tackled right around the ankle by Coyne, and going over the top was O'Sullivan. The ball's played. Spring, dummy half, got the pass to Lemaine, puts the ball high into the air, into the wide open spaces on the hillside. This is a glorious kick. Oh, huge kick it was. And now see if St George can capitalise on that kick now. They desperately need a try.
Well, 20 minutes has gone in the first half. The penalty count so far, believe it or not, 7-0 in favour of the Raiders. So it's been all the Raiders in the first 20 minutes, I think. And Steve Lennane just stamped his authority there. I think he needs to get involved a little bit more for St George to get back into this game.
Well, Lennane's been the match winner for St George in the early games this season. And, of course, St George still has that game in hand against the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast last night turned in the shock of the season by beating Eastern Suburbs, so maybe they wish they had been able to play that game earlier on before the Gold Coast got back in form.
Working the blind side was Belcher. He's tackled 22 metres out from his try line, and this is Lazarus. Lazarus brought down 30 metres out. Ball is played. Brent Todd straight down the centre. Coyne to Clyde. Here's Bradley Clyde down to the 22-metre line. He's over the 22-metre line. Will they catch him? Oh, now, is this a try or not? I think the referee will award a try. Yes, it's a try.
Great try, Bradley Clyde. Well, he had Potter coming across at him. We always wondered just how fast Bradley Clyde was. We've got the answer now. Bradley Clyde is very fast. Watch him. Watch Gary Coyne. Went through the break. Picks up Bradley Clyde. He's running, looks for support. He's got no one with him. Carey went inside. Potter's got his measure. And he put him down just through his... Well, he's rolled over, and that is a fair try. Great try from the Raiders. Here's the head on. Bradley Clyde. Potter's got his measure. Comes across. He's a big boy, Bradley.
Look at those giant strides, Peter.
Hangs on grimly by one leg, but just can't get him.
It's a great ball by Brent Todd. He initially kicked that play off. He busted the first line and got a magic pass onto Gary Coyne, and the rest is history now.
Well, Brent Todd, Glenn Lazarus, Gary Coyne, all playing very well.
By the end of the day, Peter, we could have some good tries to select the best player of the match.
We've already got 3 state bank try of the matches as Gary Belcher attempts to convert it. Long, low trajectory kick. But it certainly didn't go over the post. So Belcher's not having much luck with his kicking. But Canberra certainly having a lot of luck as far as the try-scoring efforts are concerned. They've scored 2 here at Seaford Sports Ground, and the signs are looking ominous. 12 points to 0. The Canberra Green Machine is in motion again. There's Big Mal. And he touched the ball twice.
Here's the restart of play by Mackay. There's Mal. Listen to the crowd roar. Meninga gets away from one, but he's brought still down Meninga. Off-fades the pass. Belcher gets away from one up to the 22-metre line, but he's brought down.
How strong is Mal Meninga? He just runs through them as if they're not there. Unbelievable. Well, the ball's gone loose on the far side, and Johnson's got the ball for St George. So a mistake from the Raiders, and continue to put points on the board. Back inside goes Crow. He's tackled about 15 metres out from the Canberra line. We'll see what the defence of Canberra's like. Yell out that they've finally got a penalty, and we see with the replacement down the sideline, Anthony Moore.
To spring the jump from the field, he's got a bit of a leg injury. He's been replaced by Dunn that's returned to St George, and also back on after his 5 minutes.
They won't lose anything with Billy Noak on a paddock. I'm a fan of him. He's a very good player.
Boy, Dunno, I believe.
St George back with 13 players on the paddock. Nowhere to go for Trevor. Tackled back to legs out. Watkinson cleared dumb half. Gives it to Higgins. He's tackled about 6 metres from the Canberra line. Lenane's not. He's going to throw dummies. Finally gets it to Mackay. Meninga came up at 1,000 miles an hour. Goes to Moore through Ferguson. No, he can't. O'Sullivan comes in to help him put it to the ground. Comes the blind side. Billy Noak with his first touch of the ball. Can he go through? No, he can't. In fact, he's thrown over the sideline. Good tackle, Ricky Stewart. And good defence from the Raiders. Can have the best attack in the world, but have the defence to go with it. The Raiders so far have withstood the pressure. All be fed by Stewart. Now they offside the St George backs. Goes Bradley Clyde. Ferguson wanted to get into dummy half, but he's pushed aside. Wallace gets it to Brent Todd. Well, Ben Lazarus has been better and better. Goes to... Well, that could be bad news for Canberra. They won't lose anything to Craig. Back on the paddock. He's been out injured for a few weeks. He's on his feet, though. The adrenaline must be pumping for Big Bradley Clyde, scoring that great try. A run of about. See Locke scoring many like that. George now goes to Fullerton Smith. Tried shoulder charge. Very point eventually around the legs now. They've got numbers this time. St George. Great tackling Jack on the fifth. Drive it, biting at their heels and putting them to the turf. So this will be a feed to St George, about 35 metres up from Canberra range line. Score here, 4 points St George, Canberra leading at the Seaford Sports Ground.
Back here, we've just seen a great burst by Ferguson again. The crowd right on their toes. It's Raiders on the attack. They're about 24 metres out from the Dragons' try line. Belcher plays the ball. Out it goes now from Stewart, and on goes to O'Sullivan, and here's Lance bursting over the 22-metre line. He's tackled about 18 metres short of the Dragons' line. The ball is played. On it goes to Stewart, working the blind side. He got the pass to Clyde, and Clyde is brought down in a desperate tackle. Only about 8 metres out. The ball is played quickly. On the blind side, Meninga. Ferguson diving for the line, but he's bundled into touch by Wally Fullerton Smith, only about 1.5 metres out from the try line. They're applying some pressure down there, these Raiders.
This was a set move. The ball was switched back to the blind side. There was only about a yard for Ferguson to move in, and the defence was equal to the task. Dean Lance found himself in a gap, and he had, if he'd looked back on the inside, Brent Todd was launching up, but unfortunately he was put to the ground.
Now the scrum goes down 7 or 8 metres out from the Dragons' line. The ball is fed in by Linane. Dragons ball. This is Linane, but he doesn't get very far. He's got Clyde there to bring him down, and also Stewart to lend a hand. The ball is played. This is Moore. Moore 10 metres out from his line. The Raiders' defence up very, very quickly indeed. The ball is played. This is Crow, the lock forward, and Crow gains only 1 metre or so. He's tackled 10 metres out from his try line. The ball is to be played from Spring. The Dragons desperately trying to get away from the danger area at the present time. They're still within their 22-metre line. Fullerton Smith over the 22-metre now. He's tackled about 25 metres out from his own try line. There's a kick through by St George. Underneath it is Belcher. Beautifully taken by Belcher. Slips, gets up again, but Higgins is up there very quickly with Mackay to bring him to the ground. 25 metres out from his own try line. Carey from the dummy half. He has a run, gains about 5 or so metres. He's tackled on the far side by Johnston. Ball is played, and this is Belcher from the dummy half. But the gap closes up very quickly. Fafita was there. And also Shane Kelly. Raiders throwing the ball around well. This is Clyde. Oh, beautiful pass to Stewart. A little dummy. And look at Stewart go. He's split the defence down to the 22-metre line. On it goes to Henjack. Puts a little kick through. It's still in play, but coming through very quickly there. It looked like Potter. And Potter it was. No, it was Linane, in fact. And Linane, was it Potter or Linane?
No, Linane it was. Linane saved the day. But just how does St George stop this attacking machine rolling? Canberra can attack from anywhere on the paddock. Every player has the ability to break a tackle and make a break.
Unrelenting pressure.
Well, good run from Ricky Stewart. He found himself in the gap.
Beautiful little dummy.
Looked around. Ferguson went on the inside of him, but he had a player tailing him up, so they went to Henjack, and Henjack put the kick through, almost a try.
Now this is Meninga. Meninga accelerates. Oh, look at the power of this man. Down towards the 22-metre line. Meninga will get up and play the ball about 24 metres out. Dean Lance. Lance tackled right around the ankles. Fafita goes over the top, and the other tackler there was Trevor Crow. Ball is played quickly. Lazarus is through the gap now. Looks for support, but throws it straight into the arms of Linane. Linane got his pass to Johnston. Now here's St George. Johnston it is. Up to the halfway. Still going. Will they catch Johnston? I don't think so.
They won't catch Johnston.
Carey's been chased. Johnston dives.
Well, just as I said they wouldn't catch him, Carey dived. Is it a double movement? I believe it was.
It was a sensation.
No. I believe that was a double movement. He was definitely tackled. The ball carrying arm touched the ground, and then he reached back over. Let's look at it. Let's look at it on the replay, but let's also point out the score is 12 points to 4. Harrigan has given the try.
Here it is, Peter.
Ball goes to Johnson. And Johnson's one of the fastest players in the competition. I didn't think Carey was anywhere near him, but Carey tries, grits his teeth, comes through. There's the tackle, great tackle. He's tackled. Double movement. Well, definitely a double movement. But the referee has awarded the try, and let's reflect back on the Blake try not so long ago. It could also have been classed as a double movement, but if ever you saw one, watch this. That is a fair tackle, and that's a double movement. Well, doesn't make any difference to the scoreboard. The scoreboard shows the score here at 12 points to 4. St George desperately needed that try, and they got that lift for the Dragons.
Well, a bit of sensation here at the Seaford Oval, or Seaford Sports Grounds. Now here's Walford, the second further try by Brian Johnson. Very close, far touchline on the 22-metre mark. And this is Walford. The ball's in the air. It's looking good. It's flagged away, and so the score remains Canberra 12, leads St George 4. We'll be back in just a moment.
Well, that try by St George has stung the crowd into action. They're into voice now, and the chant is up at Seaford Oval. Raiders, Raiders. 12 points to 4. They lead the St George Dragons.
I think it's just another example of the New South Wales Rugby League. They've got to look at having these touch judges in goal. I mean, the touch judge obviously couldn't keep up with the likes of Johnson and Carey there. And, of course, he wasn't in position and he wasn't there to adjudicate. So another case for the New South Wales Rugby League to have a look at.
Well, there's a bad pass from St George. It goes to Meninga. Meninga's got Ferguson. Ferguson's got the defence coming across at him. Can he beat them? Steps beats one, beats two. Can't beat the third. Can't beat the third. Well, as soon as Ferguson got the ball, the St George defence started to scream across the line as it goes to Stewart. Stewart can't get over the tackle from Billy Noak. He's tackled about 15 metres out from the St George line to O'Sullivan. Bradley Clyde running wide in the centres. He's tackled on the far side, 18 metres out from the St George line. Henjack at dummy half, goes to Gary Coyne. Coyne back on the inside to Belcher. Belcher trying to go through the pack, loses the ball. Pressure off. Trevor Bailey comes up with it for St George. Pressure certainly released on St George. As Ricky Walford, haven't seen much of him today. He's tackled 22 metres out. Dean Lansdowne getting attention. Yes, he's got his headgear off. Thanks, Anthony. And who's on the sideline down there?
Craig Diamond will be coming on.
Craig Diamond. He's been itching to get back on that paddock. He's been out with for a couple of weeks. I saw him at the Queanbeyan Leagues Club the other week on Tuesday night, actually, after they steamrolled Illawarra, and he said, how am I going to get back on that paddock? Well, this is how he's going to. He's got 10 minutes while the captain, Dean Lance, is in the headbit. Let's watch for him. Steamroller, they call him. Brilliant form early in the season. He's got 10 minutes to show his worth out there now as Ricky Stewart feeds the scrum. Harrigan asked for it again. Ball came straight out. 5 minutes to go in the first half. 12 points to 4. Canberra leading St George. Stewart feeds it. Goes to Belcher. Belcher steps back on the inside. Taken by Trevor Crowe. Here goes Steamroller. And looks to get the ball back on the inside. There was no support. Meninga at dummy half. Who's he going to give it to? Ricky Stewart. Slow motion stuff from the Raiders. Bradley Clyde's got the ball. They're starting to slow down a little bit, Canberra now. They should be starting to push forward, search for another try in that crucial period, 5 minutes before half-time. Working on a play. Walters to Stewart. Stewart will kick the ball downfield. Long kick from Stewart over the top of Potter's head. He has to go back and get it. Potter comes up. Tries to go. Oh, the ball's gone loose. Meninga's knocked it out of his hands. O'Sullivan took him around the legs. Well, here's Canberra's opportunity now. O'Sullivan, he was offside. Stayed out of the play. Trevor Bailey was offside and he rightly didn't attempt to tackle him. It goes to the right side of the field. Gary Coyne, short ball, beautifully taken by Belcher. He's tackled 18 metres out. Gary Coyne at dummy half. Ball goes, runs himself, Coyne, to Lazarus. Lazarus, he's going to score! Greg Lazarus is taken defence by St George. That's the try they needed right on half-time.
So easy for Lazarus. There he is. Lazarus ever so calmly just placed the ball down to score number 2.
He put that shot down to Melbourne. He got a great ball and also on the fullback. He crunched him to the ground. The ball tackle loose. He died on the ball, and 2 tackles later. Thank you very much. And Lazarus into the shot.
While you had Meninga on the back, he was there with him too. Hit him around the legs as Meninga hit him high on the back. Lazarus has been touching the defence every time he's touched the ball. It was another occasion, but that was a poor attempt by Shane Kelly. 16 points to 4, and Ricky Stewart is now going to attempt to convert this try. Afraid for the switching of the kickers. Belcher kicking the ball too sweetly. Stewart can do, he moves in. Looks good. That's a sweet kick. The scoreline. Points to 4. Canberra looking St George running out the first half.
That's the 5th goal kick the Raiders have used in less than a week. We've had Darling, Belcher, Meninga, O'Sullivan, and now Ricky Stewart.
Coming up to half-time.
18 points to 4. Craig Young's going to try and lift his side. And we mentioned at the beginning of the game, this team has played 2 matches in the past 7 days. And it's a very hot Canberra's team. Beautifully taken by Ike Henjack. Comes up, little line, solid tackle. Ike together with Jenna Crow. Craig Diamond, former Canberra player. At numbers 2, Canberra. Can Belcher get through? Yes, he can. Gets to Meninga, but Meninga puts it down. It wasn't a good pass. But it's definitely on. And the pass should have been thrown with a minute to go. 18 points to 4. Is this going to be a platform for another big Raiders victory? Time will tell. Stay up with us. Watch this game. Lanane, St George need points. Johnson, run around move back to Lanane. Goes to Potter. Oh! The big rig came through. Lanane. Look at this defence. Good defence. Canberra. Brent Todd together to help the Walker in the team after injury last week. There's the half-time. Who they're here at Seated Sports Ground. The scoreline, Canberra defensive 15 points to the St George Dragons 4. Here come the Raiders back on the paddock. 18 points to 4. Enough lead to win a Melbourne Cup, I would think, at this stage, Tony.
Well, it appears that way, Peter, but St George will have to do something rather drastic to get back into this match, particularly if the Raiders keep that unrelenting pressure applied to them.
Earlier on today, we saw the President's Cup side, Canberra, run away with the match, 52-16. The reserves, Canberra reserves, which have been going so well up till today, that's the news, when they were the only undefeated team in any grade, they lost today. Unfortunately, 24 points to 10. Good effort by the St George reserve grade to roll Canberra. Statistics from the first half, Richard Keeley.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, in the scrums, they favour St George 7-6. The penalty count, a whopping margin there to Canberra Raiders. They lead the penalties 7-1. Missed tackles, St George have missed 14 in the first half to the Raiders 2. And the errors, Canberra's made 9, but they've had more of the ball, and St George made 6 in the first half.
Okay, well, the game has started.
I think there's a replacement there too, Peter, for St George. 41 is on. It looks like Steve Robinson. We might confirm that.
Cross down to Anthony Moore. Find out what happened in the sheds at half-time. Anthony.
Yes, I just got a quick word with Tim Sheens there. Once again, he asked the players just for the basics. He emphasised those. He wanted good field position for the first 20 minutes, and then he just wanted good defence. He just wanted to tighten it up there. He said they really need this game, and good tight defence. Craig Young was very quick out of the dressing rooms, and I couldn't get a word with him.
Well, we had the same problem before the game. Craig Young is a man of few words. He did say he'd talk after the match. We'll see if he stays true to his word on that occasion. If the Saints get hammered here today, and that's on the cards at the moment, he might be too willing to have a chat with us. We do have a replacement on for St George. Number 14 is on the paddock. And also, he looks like he might have taken the place of Darren Higgins.
Darren South, I think it is, number 14, Peter.
Darren South.
I think you'll find Michael Potter's left the field there.
All right, well, we'll leave that in your hands, Anthony Moore, if you can just sort out exactly who St George has got on the paddock. As look, Sullivan's into a gap, and that's a huge one too, as he got support. Henjack's trying to come up behind him, but a good tackle on Henjack puts him down about 45 metres out. That was Moore, the tackler. goes to Lazarus. Lazarus running wide and running hard. He'll play the ball on the halfway. Back to the blind side. Lance is back on the paddock. Diamond's off now. And it goes across. Goes to Walters. Long pass. Gets to Carey. Carey back on the inside to Henjack. Throwing the ball around the Raiders. Only gained about 10 metres, but they're certainly giving the ball plenty of air. Goes to Stewart. Throws the dummy. Oh, popped the big one. Shane Kelly, the tackler. Missed the crucial tackle on Lazarus in the first half. Well, penalty has gone against Harrigan. Harrigan's given a penalty, should I say. Went against Ricky Stewart. According to Harrigan, Stewart was holding the man down on top of him.
Darren South, he's come on. He's in jumper number 14. He's the reserve grade fullback. He's taken the place of Mick Potter. And also for the Saints there, 5'8", Darren Higgins. He's off, being replaced by 41, Steve Robinson.
Thanks for that. So, 3 changes to the St George side at the beginning of the second half. A drastic measure by Craig. He has to get his side running. As I mentioned before, the reserve grade did play very well, and Darren South was amongst their best players. Darren South in number 14.
St George come up with another error and another turnover to the Raiders.
41, Steve Robinson and Billy Noak in number 40. So they're the strange numbers you see out on the paddock as Canberra will play out of their own half. Score 18 points for 3. This is a big crowd at Seaford Oval, and they want to see more tries, and this is the way they're going to get them. O'Sullivan's gone through. Melcher's got a good pass. The ball went loose. Referee says forward. That was interesting. Ball went all over the place. Eventually the scrum will be put down. Here it is on the replay. O'Sullivan gets the ball back on the inside. Wasn't a good pass. The ball, in fact, came off Belcher's shoulder. Went forward. Johnson trying to probe for that much needed gap in the defence. Henjack. Trevor Crowe. O'Sullivan looks dangerous every time he touches the ball.
He's been in great form. In fact, he's made a big difference at this side. He came back into first grade for the Eastern Suburbs game, and I don't think he's been in a losing side since. He's made a big difference at this side.
O'Sullivan has been a losing team all year for Canberra, and that includes reserve graders. The ball goes loose by Ricky Stewart. What a great match he's having too. He's got that Ricky Stewart. A little bit of extra time on his hands. Not too many players have. Bobby Fulton was the same type of player. He on his hands as Brent Todd goes towards the 22. The ball goes loose and picked up by Wally Foot. No, Wally Foot. Perfect. It was Steve. The ball's gone loose again. Big tackle. Tackle from Barry. Wide. Robinson. With the headgear on. We've got 2 players in the St George backs. Headgear on. There's the tackle. Ricky Stewart over the top. Ball went loose. Referee claimed the tackle had already been made. Instead it came off Ricky Stewart. So Lanane fed the scrum and St George come up with possession about the 20. Ricky Walford. A very, very quiet Ricky Walford day. Good tackle. Back underneath the top. Trevor Crowe felt that one. He'll feel it tomorrow too as Bailey goes from dump half. It's good defence from Canberra. Tackle 40 metres out from his line. Fuller Smith, a dummy goes back to Lanane. Lanane down the Canberra 22. Johnny Ferguson picks it up. Can he beat the defence? Mackay comes across and Moore beats Moore, but Mackay gets his chance to put him down. He'll play the ball. Bradley Clyde doesn't mind a bit of work, this young boy. Doesn't mind scoring tries. We saw in the first half, and that could well be our safety. Tried the match, the ball's gone loose and it was picked up. Could almost have been a try. Ball went loose. Referee ruled.
Offside, I think.
Yes, Mackay was offside. So Mackay was headed for the try line. That would have been much needed touchdown for the Dragons. Referee Harrigan pulled him back. And penalty has gone to Canberra.
Still takes the kick. Won't find touchdown.
Not a good.
And this is Darren South. The replacement fullback. South over the 22-metre line. He's thrown to the gun by Henjack. Walford moves to dummy half. This is Crowe. Crowe was brought down heavily by Clyde. Ball is played. And this is Kelly. Shane Kelly, 30 metres up from his own try line. St George have got a lot of work ahead of them to get back into this match. That was more. No, he's play on, yes, Mackay over the 22-metre line, looks for support. Still a loose pass. Picked up over there by the number 9, which was Bailey. And Bailey is tackled just inside the Raiders' 22-metre line.
Look forward that pass to me, but no less the game goes on.
Suspiciously forward. Here goes St George. Johnson looks for support. Moore now with the ball. It's thrown loose. A loose pass Digon on the far side there by Brad Mackay. Just inside the Raiders' 22-metre line. The ball is played. Fullerton Smith. Steve Lanane. A chip kick through. It goes straight to the arms of Ricky Stewart. Raiders back in possession now. Stewart back up to the 22-metre line. Stewart to play the ball. Steve Walters dummy half. Gary Coyne over the 22-metre line, runs into Fafita, and also Wally Fulton Smith, 25 metres out from the Raiders' line. They're in possession. 28 metres out. Ball's played from Todd. It goes out now to Lazarus. He's having a powerhouse game again, Lazarus. Midway between the half and the quarter line. Waller's the dummy half. Offloads the pass to Stewart. Stewart kicks deep back over the 22-metre line. Running back there is Darren South. It's going back to the goal line. Picked up by South. Runs back up 10 metres out. Gets away from one tackler. Still going South. And he takes the ball back up towards the 22-metre line. The score here is 18 points to 4. Canberra leading St George. 18-4. Canberra leading St George. There's a player injured on the ground over there.
Moore's down on the sideline. He got a rare opportunity to talk to the referee at half-time, and that was Bill Harrigan about that double movement decision.
Yes,
Anthony.
I had a quick word to Bill about I asked him about that try, and he said he was in no hesitation at all about it. He thought that the player actually bounced over the line. He sought a second opinion from his touch judge, but he thought the player actually bounced over the line. He said, of course, that's up to your own opinion, but in his interpretation, it was a fair try.
All right. Well, that's what the scoreboard attendant says too. It's a fair try. It's 18 points to 4, and we've got a penalty to the Raiders, well within Ricky Stewart's kicking range. So the scoreboard attendant might be busy in another moment. Well done, Anthony, getting a word with the referee. That's unusual. I know the coaches can't say anything about the referees, or else they get a hefty fine slapped on them. Harrigan defends his decision. Might make too much of a difference here today. The Raiders are looking strong, although for the first time in the match, we've seen St George finding a few chinks in the defensive pattern of Canberra. Out wide, Darren South's made a bit of a difference coming on at fullback, Richard.
He certainly has, yeah. I was just looking at the crowd, as you mentioned before. There's a big crowd here today, and I was just thinking we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. The Parramatta Eels coming to Canberra, Peter.
What a game that's going to be. I think pretty well rest assured that's going to be the match of the day, which unfortunately means I don't get to call it with my compatriot Tony Campbell. We get to watch it instead.
They'll be hanging from the rafters, I can guarantee you that, Peter.
Certainly will.
Let's have a look at this kick by Stewart. Moves in. Is it there? It certainly is. There's another 2 points. 10 minutes of play gone in the second half. And it's Canberra 20 leading St George 4.
20 points to 4. A lead of 16. 30 minutes to go. The big crowd here, the edge of their seats, they want to see some more brilliant attack from this green machine. St George, coach Craig Young wants to see his side try and clamber back into the game. Here goes Johnny Ferguson down the blind side. He's dangerous. He is dangerous. How do you try and mark a player like Johnny Ferguson?
It's almost impossible.
I would have thought they'd have had Ricky Walford on him, but anyway, we haven't seen much of Walford here today. We've seen a fair bit of Johnny Ferguson already. As Brent Todd takes the ball up over the halfway line. Molly Fullerton Smith was on his back. Comes across to Stewart to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan tries to kick through. Comes off the St George defence and goes to Ricky Stewart. Stewart's gone straight through and Lazarus on his left. Can Lazarus make it? Lazarus back on the inside to Belcher. Belcher will. It's a try. Great try. Great football.
Certainly was. Yet another superb try by the Canberra Raiders. They go further ahead now, 24 points to 4. And there's Gary Belcher. Let's have a look at this now.
O'Sullivan tries to kick it. Unfortunate for St George.
6 tackles to go, signalled by the referee. Here's Stewart into the clear. Away well-timed pass out to Lazarus. Lazarus looks for the support. The supporters, they're all right in the shape of Belcher. And Belcher finishes that good movement off and scores another try for the Raiders.
Yep, Ivan Henjak, he knocked the ball down. Actually, he blocked the ball there, and he's down receiving attention. Looks like he's going in the head bin for 10 minutes. It was a great knockdown, but by Jingos, he's paying the penalty for it now.
Here's the front-on view of it now, with Belcher diving over to score yet another try. And that comes up at around about the 12-minute mark in the second half.
And we see Henjak being led from the paddock. Kevin Walters coming back on. Kevin Walters, one of the unfortunate players to be axed from this Canberra side. We don't know if he's going to the head bin or whether he's been replaced.
The conversion kick was successful. Yeah, another 2 points.
The trainer indicated that Ivan's going into the head bin for 10 minutes. Of course, Ivan today playing his 99th first-grade game.
What a great campaigner he's been, in some sparkling form, as are the 12 other players, or I should include the reserves in that as well.
Yes, there's Kevin Walters on the screen now.
So we've had 2 players into the head bin already for Canberra.
Look at Clyde.
Strong, aggressive runner. He goes to Brent Todd. They've got their tails up, Canberra. St George are going to have to marshal all their strength to stop this green machine.
They're just wondering what they've got to do, Peter, the St George side. Few players have got the hands on the hips.
Well, that's the sort of thing they're going to have. They got a battering in the first half as far as the penalties are concerned. 7-1. They got one in. Brent Todd didn't get to his feet and play the ball correctly.
Now there's Craig Diamond, just saw a moment ago there on the screen, warming up. He's possibly coming back on the field.
We might see Dean Lance come from the paddock. Leave that. We'll follow that action as the ball goes across the back line. Fafita, great tackle around the legs. Bradley Clyde to the blind side. Billy Moke toss to the turf. Ricky Stewart, strength for a small man. Robinson, Johnson tries to go through. Good tackle, Dean Lance. Captain by example. Robinson goes to Fulton Smith. There's nowhere and no way through this defence from the Canberra Raiders. Lenane puts a high towering kick. And there is Belcher. Belcher takes it with consummate ease. He's a class player, Belcher. He just needs to knock this back, and we'll soon see him ripping the shreds out of the opposition as it goes to Lazarus. Man, so far in my opinion. Lazarus backing up that break by Ricky Stewart before. Gary Coyne almost goes straight for the cap. The green machine. O'Sullivan goes pull down. Yes, he can. Tackle from Brian Johnston.
It's a good ball by Bradley. I'd like people be interested in the big game tonight on Capital Television, Canberra and South, to see how Paul that goes, because Bradley Clyde must be a big chance of making it.
There's a tackle. Cover defending tackle. Justin John Ferguson was almost in the field.
Here's Mackay back to Johnson. John tackled. Almost sent field. And Dean Lance comes up with it for the Raiders. He tips it forward quickly. Picks up Big Melmaninga. Melmaninga's got Carey with nowhere to go. Backside. And he'll take the tackle 45 metres out from the St George try line. Bradley Clyde, a dummy half. Goes to Stewart. Stewart to Lazarus. Lazarus standing still, expecting to be cut out. He's tackled just the St George side of halfway. Goes to Brent Todd. Bump shoulders with Fullerton Smith. Raiders comes to the open side. Little chip kick through. Bradley Clyde coming through on it. All well taken by Darren South, showing a lot of ability as he still goes up the paddock.
A lot of determination there that time from South.
A lot of ability and a lot of heart. He went up for the ball as Big Bad Bradley Clyde was coming through with Gary Belcher. Set chip kick move by the Raiders. Fafita. This green defence hangs tight. I've only seen a few chinks in it in the entire match so far, and we've had around about 18 minutes of the second half. Scoreline 26-4. Canberra heading for their 5th consecutive victory in the Winfield Cup competition. Play Manly next week. What a match that will be at Brookvale Oval. I'm sure a lot of Raiders supporters will take the trip as Belcher Goes down the blind side. Belcher still going. Meninga was looming up on the inside. That's a good run back by Belcher. Takes play to about 45 metres out from his O-line. Meninga down the blind side. Wolford hangs on grimly. Belcher plays it on the halfway line. Cuts out Lance. Goes to Gary Coyne. He's tackled right on the halfway line. He'll play it. Stewart. O'Sullivan. Can O'Sullivan make the break? Oh, pushes off Robinson.
Big Zagi there by O'Sullivan.
It's a good player. Dummies to Todd. Wrap-around move to Walters. Walters to his brother Walters, and the ball gone forward. Well, it was Kevin and Steve Walters straight through the gap.
Now players on the Dragons 22-metre line. They're trying desperately to get back into this match. Now to play the ball, Moore plays it back. That's Mackay. Mackay midway between the half and the quarter line, tackled by Kevin Walters. Ball's played, Bailey dummy half, got it away now, Noak. Or is that Spring? It might be, no, it's Noak, it is. Noak is tackled. 10 metres short of halfway, the ball is played. And this time it's Trevor Bailey, just short of halfway. Bailey to play the ball. It's passed to Lenane. Lenane shaped a kick, then decided to pass the ball. They're throwing the ball around well. This is Mackay. He kicks for touch. More of a desperation kick than anything, but it paid off. He found touch just inside the Raiders' 22-metre line. And we'll see a scrum pack down there. Coming up to the 20-minute mark in the second half, and it's Canberra 26, leading St George 4.
Yeah, I think St George are really lacking a bit of authority in the middle. They're missing, I guess, Craig Young. They need someone who can show by example, and I think Craig Young has been a big loss to this side this year.
Now Stewart feeds the ball in on the 22-metre line. It's a Raiders ball, but there's a penalty against St George.
St George backs were well inside that 5 metres. The new rule that's been brought in this year to open the game up. The Quicksilver Canberra backs. St George trying not to give them any latitude. They've already given them a bit today, and they've paid the penalty, 26 points to 4.
Now there's the kick by Stewart. Finds touch midway between the half and the quarter line. We'll be back with more in just a moment. That's Stewart. He shows the ball, and eventually he's brought down just inside his own half. Over towards the far side of the field. The ball is played back to Ferguson. It goes to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan puts the boot to the ball. It goes over the head of Walford. He runs back a few metres, regathers it. Back over the 22-metre line goes Walford now. Runs into Belcher. And I'd say that's just about as far as you'll go, Ricky boy. And Walford will play the ball 24 metres out from his own line. The ball is played and passed on. It goes to Moore. And Moore tries to get out of the tackle by Belcher. Stands up, got the pass away eventually. And this is Mackay now. Brad Mackay up towards the halfway line, and he's brought down about 9 metres short. Tackled by Gary Coyne. Mackay to play the ball. It's passed now. It goes to Fullerton Smith. And Fullerton Smith is quickly thrown to the ground by Clyde. The ball is played out. It goes to Lenane. Lenane got the pass away now. And this is Noak. And Noak is tackled 9 metres short of halfway. St George trying everything to get back into this match, but they're not gaining much ground though. This is Moore, and Moore just short of the halfway line. Moore to play the ball. Bailey is dummy half. Offloads the pass to Lenane. Lenane kicks, looking for touch. He won't find it though. It goes straight to Belcher. This is Gary Belcher, back over the 22-metre line. And he's tackled by 2 of the St George forwards, including Fullerton Smith and also Trevor Bailey. 24 metres out from the Raiders line. They're in possession. This is Dean Lance. Goes straight up the centre, but tackled right around the ankles by Trevor Crowe. Ball is played quickly. Kevin Wallace got the pass to Coyne. Coyne runs into Mackay, and he's held up, and he'll play the ball midway between the half and the quarter line. The ball is played from Steve Walters. Out it goes now. This is O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan looking for a gap. Gets out of one tackle. Still going O'Sullivan, and he's brought down about 5 metres short of halfway in centre field. He'll play the ball back to Steve Walters. On it goes then to Todd. Todd offloaded the pass to Lazarus, and here goes Johnny Ferguson skirting the touchline. Inside it goes to Kevin Walters. Walters going for the corner. Will he make it? He certainly will. Another great try by the Raiders, and he puts the ball down right between the uprights. Thank you very much.
The Raiders is all over them at the moment, St George. That was a great break. Johnny Ferguson, I believe he could have scored the try himself, as he does so often, though. He creates the try. That was a great pass from Lazarus. Look at Ferguson go. He could have come back on the inside of him, but instead he played safety first. That's the way to play it too. Gives it to Kevin Walters, and Kevin Walters, thanks very much, Johnny Ferguson. I'll put the ball down. And that is the ball game as far as St George is concerned, if it was ever in doubt.
Now, Peter, he's taught. How can that man retire, Johnny Ferguson?
Just imagine what the other clubs
He can't retire. He's talking about retiring.
We won't let him.
No.
I think that they should start a petition up now about Johnny Ferguson retiring, but
There's Kevin.
I know Johnny McIntyre. I doubt very much whether Johnny Ferguson will hang his boots up this year. Although Johnny Ferguson is very much the family man. He's got a couple of beautiful young children, and I'm sure he wants to spend a bit of time with them. Great footballer, great entertainer, as Ricky Stewart lines up this kick. Man of the match. It's a terrible one to pull to try and pick today. Glenn Lazarus has played so very well. Bradley Clyde has also had an exceptional game. Every other player's played well.
I've got a book full of them.
Yes. Let's just say it was the team won the man of the match here today. It's not over yet either. Stay viewing. We'll get plenty more action. We've got 16, 17 minutes to go. And the scoreline, Canberra 32, St George Dragons 4. And lucky to get...
And they're certainly dragging behind at this stage.
Well, it's a big crowd here. They've been entertained. The Green Machine are the new entertainers in the Winfield Cup competition, and they're living right up to that reputation now. Charging into this match.
Just add the word mean, Peter. Green mean machine.
Okay. And don't forget, we've got Daly to come into the back line. Who do you drop? Or do you drop anyone?
Well,
Laurie Daly in scintillating form. They were talking about him the other day playing for Australia. And he's got to get back into this team. They're playing Manly next week. And Dean Lance has been replaced.
Yeah, it looks like Diamond is back on.
We're lucky Anthony Moore might be able to grab him on the sideline, have a talk to the captain. So proud of his side as Big Bad Bradley goes down the sideline, gives it to Carey. Carey's taken by Wolford. Wolford, quiet game today. Had to do more chasing than attacking as it goes to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan comes back inside.
Bradley
goes to Walters. Walters. Belcher puts it on the toe. And Wolford allows it to go over the sideline. And we've got Dean Lance on the sideline now with Anthony Moore.
Doing another outstanding performance from the Raiders. Confidence must be sky high at the moment.
Yes, it is, mate. But you know, still 15 minutes to go. We're not getting carried away. I think we're just sort of trying to stick to our basic match plan, and it seems to be working all right. Yeah.
Just an early shower for yourself, or any injury there?
Got a bit of a knock in the first half in the jaw. A little bit concerned about it, but it's you know, it'll be sore tonight, but it's all right now.
All right. Yeah. Congratulations. Great performance. Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, good on you, tough.
Great work, Dean Lance, and good news for Canberra. Bradley Clyde's back on his feet after being down injured. Here's Aaron South, cheeky little fullback. Played well since he came on the paddock. I think as far as St George is concerned, he might find himself in first grade next week. Good tackle. This has been great defence. That was Carey who went over to do a bit of the hard work. The forward's certainly done their share today.
He's playing like a man inspired. Phil Carey, Peter, this season.
If you're a St George supporter at home and you think we're sounding a little biased, it's just because Canberra are playing so well. I was here on Tuesday. They absolutely ran over the top of the Steelers. I wasn't sure whether the Steelers played that badly, but I certainly now believe that Canberra are in superlative form. And if you're at home, I'm sure you have to agree with me. All those. You know, I don't follow the Canberra side. I follow them when I'm calling the game, of course. I'm a North Sydney supporter. I've had my share of hard knocks through the years. Canberra, I admire the football they're playing. They spin it around, they throw it wide, they attack, they defend. This is great football. Perfect. Steamroller, Diamond's back on the paddock. And a good run from him. Takes the play into St George side of halfway. Gary Coyne goes through, still looking for more work. Lazarus at dummy half. Stewart to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan to Walters. Walters to Bradley. Clyde. Plays the ball. Walters puts it on the toe. Going through. South's there to pick it up though. He'll play the ball about 10 metres out from his own try line. Well, it's all green, and as you said before, Tony Campbell, it's all mean.
Peter, even though the score's 32-4, this huge crowd is staying, watching this very entertaining game. Over 12,000 spectators.
See if we can get an official score. Official attendance.
Yes, we have one here, in fact.
Have we got it now?
12,082.
12,082. Wasn't bad. Yes, did you see that before you said that?
No, I counted them.
Okay. Well, St George are counting up the numbers of green players against them. They think there's more than 13 on the paddock. The way they're finding holes in them, I can understand that sort of reasoning. So it goes to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan to Brent Todd. Goes to fullback. Belcher. Belcher still going. Throws the big dummy looking for support. Beautifully on the inside, but O'Sullivan couldn't handle it. Well, threw the big dummy. Waited for O'Sullivan. The ball went there to him, but unfortunately couldn't take it. Otherwise, it would have been another try. Plays the ball. Walford. Walford shell-shocked, just like his 12 other teammates out there. Bailey. We must mention too, though, that St George have had a heavy schedule lately, and the referee Harrigan has called play up here. Oh, well, Harrigan's gone in there, and Fullerton Smith has thrown the punch after Harrigan's gone in there to call play up. We'll wait and see what happens.
Fullerton Smith landed a bit of a left hook on O'Sullivan there.
Yes, there's Chris O'Sullivan on the screen, and
Harrigan's going to call him out. I can understand St George being frustrated. 32 points to 4 is a reason for any sort of good reason for frustration in a game of football.
Here it is. Let's have a look at this little incident here.
You saw it was a left cross, brushed the chin of O'Sullivan. We'll go to a commercial break now with a penalty going to St George. The scoreline here at Seaford, Canberra will in control, 32 points to 4. We're back here at Seaford Oval, about 12 minutes left in the match. Raiders well in control, and you can hear them talking in defence. Let's go up, let's meet them, let's put them on the ground, and that's what they've been doing all day. As Fafita takes a pounding, Lazarus around the legs, Bradley Clyde over the top. Great defence, great attack from Canberra all day. Mackay, beautiful tackle, steamroller, Diamond takes in. St George still in possession. They've gone nowhere with their first 3 tackles. What can they do now? As Note tries to go through the centre of the paddock, and there's nowhere to go there, son. Fifth. Looking for a kicker. They're standing round in a bunch. Ball goes to Linane. Linane, a little chip kick over, but Bradley Clyde, he's 7'6" today, and that's how tall he's standing. Plucked it from the sky. We had the Canberra, the Cannons playing at half-time against the Jockeys. They're about 7'6". Big bad Bradley Clyde must have taken a few tips. Linane will feed this. 30 metres out from the Raiders try line. Playing only for pride now, St George. They can't win this game. As Robinson tries to go through, Meninga over the top. Hasn't done a real lot today, but what he has done has been class, and that was a class tackle. Diamond at dummy half. Goes Linane down the blind side. Hits the ball through. Ferguson will be first back to the ball, and it goes over the dead ball line. So the ball play will come back to the 22-metre line for a tap resumption. Some of the crowd starting to leave the field now. They've seen a great performance once again from the Canberra Raiders, moving towards their 5th straight win. Lazarus, he still wants more work. How fit are these players? He'll play the ball. Stewart, Diamond. Whoa. Steamroller gives Wally Fullerton Smith the big don't argue. Hit my little 5'8", he says to Wally. Goes to O'Sullivan. Man, we're talking about Meninga out the back to Ferguson. Ferguson still going. Johnny down the sideline. Can he score? Comes back on the inside itself, and the ball comes back to Bradley Clyde. Great work, Johnny Ferguson. Bradley Clyde will play the ball only 10 metres out from the St George line. But a penalty's been given against Canberra by Harrigan.
Yeah, Clyde can't believe it.
That would have been a try if he hadn't been able to play it.
Here it is again.
Here comes the incident inside of South with ease. Johnny Ferguson. Ball comes back to Bradley Clyde. Gets up to play it. He's been held down. Well, he ruled that he incorrectly played the ball, but I can assure you, if you're at home and you saw the same shot I did, he didn't have the opportunity to play the ball. St George rucking the ball out from their own line now.
And players just outside the St George 22-metre line. The ball is to be played. Note played the ball. Oh, they've gone without it again. That was Robinson. And the Raiders back in possession. Diamond plays the ball. Steve Walters throws a long pass from Kevin. Out it goes now to Belcher. Belcher standing up in the tackle. Got the pass to Coyne. And Coyne has tackled 30 metres out from St George's line. The ball to be played. Steve Walters, dummy half. Diamond this is. Diamond puts the shoulder in and barges up towards the 22-metre line. And he's tackled right around the ankle there by Billy Noak. The ball is played quickly. On it goes to Brent Todd. And Todd, three of the St George defenders there to bring him down 23 metres out. The ball's played. Steve Walters, dummy half. It goes from Stewart. Out it goes to O'Sullivan. A little pass to Coyne. Then it goes to Meninga. Meninga's through the gap. Look for support. Here's another try.
How easy was it? How easy was it? Once Meninga had the ball, I just felt for Darren South. He was standing back there, 5 metres out from his own line, and Meninga was coming. Watch the ball. Beautiful ball from Coyne. There goes Meninga. Look at South. Oh my goodness, he says. Thank God he passed it. O'Sullivan has been backing up and charging through the gaps all day, and a well-deserved try. Look at it head on. This is how you would have felt if you were Darren South. Here goes the ball.